All right, Randy. Well, thank you again for being with us today. Just before we do anything else, just tell us a little bit about your company, what you do, and kind of how what you do intersects with the promotional products industry.
Right, right. I've been an importer since 1996. I help
Hmm.
a lot of suppliers to procure products from overseas, specifically China and then a little bit of Taiwan. And in 2006, 2005, I have a warehouse program where I will bring in merchandise into the United States and I will warehouse them.
Hmm.
And then some of the suppliers can tap into my warehouse program for products that they can print for the promotional product industry. So that's been
And
doing
and what's the name of your company?
Impacts. IMPEX. It's import export. First three letters are import and EX of the export. So
I got you. I see what you did there. All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So we got the introductions out of the way there. So let's kind of get into the heart of the matter. When did you start to notice some symptoms?
It was. I remember clearly a daily. I mean, and it was March 15th. That was a Sunday.
Okay, March
Yeah.
March March 15th on a Sunday,
Right.
and what were you feeling? What were some of the initial symptoms like?
Initial symptoms is just body aches.
Hmm.
It's like kind of like a soreness
Hmm.
all over, and just a little bit of dry cough. And I didn't think anything of it, because
Hmm.
I mentioned I went to play golf Saturday. I mean, I didn't quite exactly, stay put like a good old
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
And
Okay.
so my friend says, "Hey, let's go golf." So I feel like that was a Saturday, and I feel like it was like I'm getting old, and my body was a little aching, and so
Hmm.
no big deal. And then around 4 o'clock, I felt this burning heat fever coming on.
You did. Okay.
And then my wife just gave me a thermometer, and then she took it and then measured it. And I'm like, oh my god, 99.5.
Okay.
So that's when I immediately went down the basement and says, okay, I gotta be isolated from you guys. So
Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Had when did it kind of start to escalate for you? Did they get more intense, the symptoms?
yeah. The next day, my fever went up to 100,
Okay.
and I called my primary, and my primary doctor says, I come in, well, 100 is still not quite the threshold.
Mm-hmm.
And call when you're about above 101.5. And
Mm-hmm.
lo and behold, by about 1 o'clock that afternoon, I just went up to 100.5.
Wow.
And
Okay.
then the doctor says, okay, well, Monday we're here at 2:30. Come in at 2:30,
Okay.
and do not. And the doctor says, do not come in.
Mm-hmm.
We'll meet you outside, and then we'll come up to the side door and then see what happens. And give
Okay.
you.
So they tested you right there, is it? They
Yeah,
kind of came out in
yeah.
the parking lot? Okay. What was
No,
the test?
no. Well, the first they had me going to the side door, and
Okay.
I was immediately on the office, the first exam office on the left. So I'm away from everybody.
Mhm.
So the doctor first he swabbed, he took a swab of my nose.
Mhm.
He did the regular flu test,
Okay.
and the regular flu test came back it was like 20 minutes. He came back negative.
Okay.
And then he says, he said you exhibit 3 out of 4 symptoms, and yours are in a crowded area,
Mhm.
because I was at the Flyers game on March 10th.
Oh, is that right? All right, and of course
Yeah,
that for the folks around who are not native Philadelphia area folks like ourselves. That's the Philadelphia Flyers, right? The NHL team. Okay. So
right.
do you think you got it at the Flyers game by any chance?
I have again I have no idea. So and then of
Yeah.
course and I'll give you another the day so the next day
Mhm.
I was at the event where the speaker event. There was about 400 people
Mhm.
in the
Oh
hall,
wow. Okay.
and so I was like, so one of the things that they did was that they so-called contact tracing,
Okay.
and they go back to 2 weeks and where I have been, and I'm trying to figure it out. And the weirdest thing is everybody that's near me, that
Mhm.
was around me, was okay. My brother was
Okay.
okay. My brother so far is okay. I'm the only person I know of at that speaker event that got it.
Okay. You were the lucky one.
Yeah, I still have no idea how
Yeah.
I got it. I mean,
Yeah.
and also that Friday night, which is the 13th,
Mhm.
I snuck out, went to an Irish pub because
Okay.
there was some
Same. St. Patrick's Day. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a
Yeah.
band playing. So
All right. So take us back to the doctor's office maybe. So they give you the test. How long did it take you to get results before they were able to confirm what you had?
the COVID-19 test, it takes about 3 to 5 days.
Okay.
So that was Monday. I got the test done. That was the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
And then 17, 18, 19, that was a Thursday. And around 2 o'clock, that my doctor called me and says, "Yeah, hey, you got hit. It's
Yeah.
test positive."
Okay. So what was your reaction when you had that news? How did that feel?
I thought me being healthy,
Mm-hmm.
it would be like just like a regular flu, because at that time people say it's just a flu. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking I should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I was nervous.
Mm-hmm.
I was, and one of the biggest guilt that I have is that I might pass on to other people,
Mm-hmm.
unbeknown to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I immediately call all my friends
Mm-hmm.
and then let them know. And of course there were a lot of frustrations.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of not anger, but just a lot of like how, why, why, why
Yeah.
are you doing, So it was a very guilt. It was my biggest guilt
Yeah.
about passing on to other people.
All right. But it sounds like, as far as you know, nobody in your personal network has come down with it. As far is that fair to say?
Well, I infected my son.
Oh, you did. Oh, your son did get it. Okay. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
Okay.
He was he's home from school,
Okay.
SAU,
Mm-hmm.
and on the 20th, on Friday,
Mm-hmm.
he had a fever 101.5.
Oh boy.
No, but and then because of my condition and
Mm-hmm.
I'm test positive, he was first in line to
Mm-hmm.
get the test. And knock on wood, my wife, who's been an angel, who's been great,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then she somehow she hasn't had any symptoms.
Okay. Thank
So
God.
yeah, and then so she's been the
Mm-hmm.
rock, trying
Mm-hmm.
to hold me and taking care of me, and
Mm-hmm.
so. But my son, he had a 30-hour fever, so that
Mm-hmm.
was Friday morning. He woke up, and about a day and a half, by Saturday afternoon, while waiting for the test, he has no fever.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
21 years old,
Okay.
so he has no fever. And then that was Saturday, Sunday, and then so you go back to uh, he got the result back Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He got back the result back on the 27th
Okay.
because of because of the weekend and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and he was known to test positive,
Okay. All
but
right.
since he has no fever ever since that Sunday, no coughing, nothing. So for him, this virus is weird, So they
Oh,
said some
Randy, we
young.
lost you a little bit there. Can you hear it? Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
all right, we
Can you hear me?
lost you for a second there. Yeah, we lost you when you said he had no fever,
Right.
but how is he doing now?
Oh, he's doing great. He's
Okay.
he Burlington County Health Department say he so that was Wednesday. I think the Wednesday was 1, 2, 3. So Wednesday was the 25th that he has 72 hours no fever, and then
Okay.
7 more days. That was yesterday.
Mhm.
So and then Cooper called and wanted him to get him tested because I told my son, I said, listen, if you test positive
Mhm.
and now you heal, let's do something. Let's do something that's good to see if we can
Mhm.
donate our plasma.
Yeah.
So Cooper called him right away. So he went to get another follow-up test
Mhm.
yesterday, and hopefully we'll get the result back that he'll be good to
He's
go.
free. All right. Very
Yeah.
good. You said a lot there. One of the things I wanted to maybe go over with you is that you've been self-isolating now for how many weeks is it?
Well, since that day, 15.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so
So
this
we're
is
we're
all
three weeks
right.
about,
Well,
right? Right.
tomorrow will be exactly 21 days.
Will be 20. Okay. You've been in your basement. You gave us a little tour prior to the start of the podcast. Do you want to kind of just give folks a little walk around of kind of
Yeah.
what your world has been for three
Yeah.
weeks here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky. So you can see I have a little, my TV, and I've been watching a lot of YouTube,
Mhm.
Netflix, and this is my that's my couch and slash bed. So that's my work area,
Mhm.
my little computer, and then we'll go into. We're very fortunate. Like I said, we had this place finished for us for our kids,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're walking. This is my private. This is the bathroom that I've been with me for the last 21 days.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, Randy, I know you kind of explained how your wife has been getting you food. Would you walk everybody through
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a little separate entrance right here.
Yes, and just for the people who are listening, not watching the video, Randy's kind of walking us around his finished basement right now, showing you basically what's been his home for the last 3 weeks. He essentially hasn't left, and what he's done is he's opened a door to his I think it's your garage area,
Yeah,
right?
that's my
Right,
garage.
Randy?
Yeah, that's my.
And
Yeah.
and Randy, tell us how your wife uses this area to kind of get you food and everything.
Well, what she would do is that she'll plan, and then she'll put the food on this tray right here. So right now you see some little of the
Yeah.
little snacks.
Yeah, so
And
basically what it is there's a tray there's these steps that lead out of Randy's garage up into, or excuse me, out of his basement into a garage area. And what's there is essentially a tray where his wife will bring him food. And I think Randy, she'll text you, right? She'll say,
right,
okay,
yeah,
it's there,
it's
right?
there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll come down. It's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like in the Philadelphia Zoo when you feed in an animal.
Right.
You know,
Right. Oh man.
the zookeeper, and they ran, and then the monkeys and then the elephants or whatever will come out and just grab the food.
I
Yeah,
gotcha. All right. So
yeah.
that's been your reality. You're obviously, you're a man in good spirits. You kind of always are, but this has been a pretty harrowing experience. You were telling us a bit before about kind of describing what you were feeling in terms of your lungs and how it was disrupting your sleep and things of that nature. Can you maybe just walk the folks who are listening through that? What this disease feels like as far as your
Yeah,
experience has been?
yeah. So for my personal experience, for the first 5 days, you know you're not comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You know you're sick. You got the fever,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have your body aches. You got dry cough. So, and the fever comes and goes. And then so you just kind of try to keep yourself cool, try to keep yourself. And that was the first. And then the day I got the test, the result back on the 19th, on the 20th, the next day, all of a sudden I started have this cough,
Mm-hmm.
and what the disease does is start to attack into my lung, and I'll be honest with you, that this disease for me, in my case, is only had one purpose: is try to make me stop breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it just want to cut off all my air supply,
Mm-hmm.
and so and then for 4 days straight, I just trying to get the stuff out of my chest.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say when I get the stuff out of my chest, it's not like regular. Oh, I have
Tickle.
a take over my throat. No,
Yeah.
this is your lung is trying to clear it.
Mm-hmm.
And every time when I have the spaz of coughing,
Mm-hmm.
it's about maybe 15 to 20 seconds nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
It got to a point where my head is so throbbing.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I cough, I have to I have a mask on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this. Then I have to put my hands right in my temple
Mm-hmm.
because it's so much. And then I'll do that for about 10 to 15 seconds, and then I get the stuff out. And
Mm-hmm.
once I get the stuff out, then I have to go run to the bathroom, and it's kind of like, because I don't want to, I don't want to spit anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Of course. Yep.
And then by me going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, got to a point where it's like, screw this. So I just got a little plastic container,
Mm-hmm.
and I put a little alcohol in there.
Okay.
And I just kind of, not to sound disgusting or anything, but that just become my dipping, my
Yeah.
spitting.
Yeah. Like your spittoon,
Yeah,
basically. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
And I did that for about, oh my goodness, it got to a point where, my wife was texting me, and then I didn't want to respond to her because listen, everybody was been great.
Mm-hmm.
All my friends are texting me to make sure I'm okay, but it's got to a point where I have no energy.
Yeah.
I have no energy.
Mm-hmm.
So if I didn't get back to my wife within like 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
she would put on the mask,
Mm-hmm.
put on the gloves, and then just come down to my basement and see if I'm still alive.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And
Yeah.
I got to a point where I said, Lee, just give me the Nest Cam. I'll
Yeah.
put the Nest Cam right here, and you can just see me.
Yeah.
If I'm alive, you can see me. If I'm sitting there, flopping and unresponsive, then you can call So but we didn't have to get to that point. So that
Thank
was very,
God.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So the physical stuff is obviously been huge. How are you feeling now? Because it doesn't seem like you're coughing as much. I mean, you definitely look. We saw some kind of pictures when you were in the midst of it, and you look healthier now. How are you
Right.
feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It got to a point where my eye socket was sunken so hard. I mean, you saw a
Hmm.
picture,
Yeah.
and I was torture. I mean, it was just
Hmm.
absolute torture. So, but one of my friend, she heard from a doctor, and also I have another friend whose daughter-in-law is a doctor at Jefferson,
Hmm.
and they sent me, some informations about this drug. It's called,
Hmm.
hydroxychloroquine.
Yes. Okay.
And so as soon as I found, I test positive, my brother and talked to my sister, and my sister was all worried and everything.
Hmm.
But in Taiwan, and also for the information that they got from in China,
Hmm.
is that people, they noticed that people who had lupus,
Hmm.
and when you have lupus, they were taking these drugs, for the long for it's like a regimen.
Hmm.
And they noticed that people who are taking this drug, hydroxychloroquine,
Hmm.
don't get contracted of this virus.
Really? Okay.
So they were doing a lot of tests and treatment and everything. So my sister, through a friend, and my cousin Kelvin, who's a
Hmm.
doctor, he tried to prescribe for me,
Okay.
and he tried to write me a script to my CVS, and he tried
Hmm.
also to write me a script also my Tamiflu,
Hmm.
and Tamiflu got filled, but this hydroxychloroquine, the brand name's called Plaquenil,
Hmm.
it was shortage.
Okay.
So what happened, from what I understand, is a lot of doctors, they were writing the script for themselves because
Hmm.
of all the information that they've been getting from Jefferson's. Because I know Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia, it's a
Hmm.
big hospital system in Philadelphia.
Yep.
They told all the doctors to direct, to treat people with dire patients.
Hmm.
Now, go back to this drug was been around since 1955.
Hmm.
So it's not some kind of, people say it's not an experiment.
Hmm.
It's a existing drugs that's been off the patent, it's been generic form
Hmm.
for 65 years. It wasn't developed to treat COVID-19 because
Right.
COVID-19, of course, it didn't exist back in 65 years ago.
Sure. So,
So
and if
so
I
all
understand it right, it was developed to treat lupus. Is that right?
well no
Okay.
and first to start out with anti-malarial.
Okay. Anti-malaria. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and the malaria, and then the people who rheumatoid arthritis and also lupus are also taking that,
Okay.
for a it's like a regimen. It's like a
Gotcha.
it's like a treatment, long term treatment.
Gotcha.
So I couldn't my friend, my cousin tried to prescribe for me, and I couldn't get it. It was denied, and it was a shortage because a lot of doctors was prescribing for themselves.
Hmm.
They were
Hmm.
hoarding, and it was told that practice is told against because at that time FDA did not say this drug can be treated.
Okay.
It's experimental. I mean,
Hmm.
when it's experimental, it was a hypothesis,
I gotcha.
and then doctor was prescribing. They were holding for themselves, so you can't do that. You can't
Hmm.
write something for your own, even though you have no symptoms.
Right. Okay.
It's kind of like you go to a pharmaceutical and get, like a treatment for something, even though you don't have it.
Okay. Yep.
So I couldn't get that. But my sister, through a friend, who her husband was a pharmacist for a big hospital in Taiwan,
Okay.
and then she told my her friend about my condition, and they said, here, I'll give you a pack,
Okay.
and so that it costs more to ship that FedEx to the United States than the medicine itself, because the medicine is so
Is
cheap.
that right? Yeah.
So the
Okay.
the medicine's generic form. From what I heard, it costs $20 to treat a patient retail. That's
Okay.
without prescription.
All
That's
right.
without any prescription plan.
Okay.
Like you literally can buy that drug
For
in a
20
month
bucks.
for 20
Yeah.
bucks.
Oh my gosh. All right. And so tell us again just one more time the name of the drug and how long did you take it for?
It's Plaquenil, Plaquenil.
Okay.
Plaquenil. That's the name brand, and
Okay.
the generic brand is
Mhm.
hydroxychloroquine.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. So So the medicine got here on the 24th in the
Okay.
morning. My brother got it because they sent it to my brother's house.
Mm-hmm.
And then he dropped it off. Of course, he came to my garage,
Mm-hmm.
threw it over threw it
Sure.
over the steps. He tied a little golf ball since I
Did you
plastic
really?
bag, yeah,
Okay.
and just kind of tossed it down to my front, that door.
Yeah.
And of course, my wife and I we had a long debate about me taking it, and
Mm-hmm.
because she thought I don't, but I did check with
Mm-hmm.
my primary doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and my cousin also checked with he's a podiatrist
Mm-hmm.
at Dallas
Mm-hmm.
in Dallas Medical Center, and then he checked with his fellow colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
So they came up with a regimen plan for me.
Oh, did we lose you, Randy?
Oh, sorry about that. So
Yeah, no problem. So we were at in Dallas. They came up with a regimen for you, basically.
right, right,
Okay.
right, right,
All right.
and then they did it three times, um, three times, three times a day,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had me for 6 days.
For 6 days, and did that? It looked like that made a difference.
Well, I what I told people is what I told other people. I'm only a field test of one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have what happened if I didn't take the
Mm-hmm.
medicine on the 24th.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how bad would I be?
Mm-hmm.
Could I be on a? But I know for a fact that after I took the first two pills,
Mm-hmm.
and I make the notes of it, it was 'cause if you see like so Plaquenil. I don't know if you can
Mm-hmm.
see this.
All right.
I don't know. So the first one,
And
the
and re-
first
and just to describe for listeners, Randy's been keeping a journal basically of your experiences, and what he's showing us is just documenting some of his medicine intake on different days, right, Randy?
right,
Yeah.
and prior to that, I only take the Tylenol
Mm-hmm.
and Mucinex, and then I switched to Dayquil and Nyquil,
Mm-hmm.
and so Nyquil to help me sleep,
Okay.
and then and then so I didn't take any other things, and the only thing my doctor prescribed to me was a cough medicine,
Okay.
but that didn't help,
That didn't do it.
you know.
Yeah. I wouldn't think it
No,
would. Yeah.
so then I took that two pills, and miraculously, I don't know. So like I said, I don't have what would I do if I didn't take it on the 24th. I
Sure.
only personally feel that after I took it on the 24th,
Mm-hmm.
in the morning on the 25th,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember this, my wife made me pancake and sausage,
Yeah.
and I was able to taste the sausage.
Okay.
Right
Yeah.
now, the
Yeah.
one of the symptoms that they say is by about third day, which is around the I think the third day was 19th,
Mm-hmm.
18th, and 18th.
Mm-hmm.
I lost all my sense of smell and taste.
Yeah. That's definitely a common symptom from what I've read anyway.
Right, I
Yeah.
couldn't. I'm sitting there. My wife gave me my brother got me this beef noodle soup, which I love,
Mm-hmm.
and it was so spicy. And she accidentally put another appetizer with so much spicy, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm eating it. It's like nothing.
Yeah. Didn't even taste it.
No, didn't
Yeah.
even taste it. Didn't even taste
Yeah.
it. I didn't even taste the salt. I didn't even taste nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So on the 25th, I immediately was able to smell that, like taste that sausage.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And then with a little bit of ZQL at night, I was able to sleep. And it was like all of a sudden my face, as soon as you're about to sleep, as soon as when you're to
Mm-hmm.
sleep, your face is like
Mm-hmm.
so much better.
Yeah. Yeah. Life returns, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I still have coughs because
Mm-hmm.
just because I have a lot of debris in my lung.
Mm-hmm.
If I take a real deep breath right now, and I still have it, but I was so much better.
Mm-hmm. All
You
right.
know,
What have been some of the kind of emotional impacts, if you will, of this? You've talked a lot about the physical, but there's. I mean, you've been in a basement for 3 weeks. How are you faring emotionally?
I'll be honest with you. It's I cried.
Mm-hmm.
I was I hate myself for got myself in these situations.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, I was just so close to call the ambulance 911 to take me away. The biggest toll is my wife, and knowing the fact that my son got affected. Every day you can only take your temperature to see if you get elevated. She, for her, she's like, that when she took a temperature and she's normal, so it's always that anxiety that will she get hit, and that for her was extremely tough,
Oh,
and then just 21 days of nothing but it's like trying to feed both kids. I mean, kids, feed me and then my son.
Right.
Because my son's been quarantined up in his room.
Okay.
During the durations, and then, but he was, he's an SJU, and he was taking online classes. So,
okay.
But that emotional toll on her was tough.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It seems though that you are at least on the other side of it now. Do you have any sense of when you might be able to get back to normal? And kind of when that step comes?
Well, for me is what the Burlington Health Department says. I should be free by the 6th of April.
By the 6th, okay. So we're
Monday.
recording this on the 3rd.
Right.
So so you're almost there. You're almost there.
Right. And then and when you talk about normal,
yeah.
I it's weird because when my news broke, and then of course everybody in this town, like people will come up to my wife, when she's walking the dogs, everybody will be like, "Hey, how's your husband?" and everything, but everybody will keep a distance.
Sure.
And yesterday when I went out, and because when I still put this mask on, and I can tell people, kind of like try to keep a distance away from me, because I'm a virus boy,
Right.
So it's just that, I guess, will it ever be normal? I don't know. I mean, I just have to take one day at a time, and maybe I'll wear like an A sign, around me, like virus free, 'cause I think that's what people were doing in Asia, is that they have an app,
Okay.
and then they'll I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like a license. It would be like, I identify myself, and now I feel lucky. I mean, I feel lucky that hopefully when this thing is over, I hope that I'm immune to it, so I can be more, not as more tense.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So I just with the unknown for years, for maybe many weeks to come, especially for people, how would that, how would that know, So
it's like what you're saying is even having survived it, it is a life-changing experience, because to have gone through something like this, it leaves an indelible mark. It's something that, you probably carry with you, and is always, maybe, I don't want to say lurking, but like it's on your mind. It's something that, I think that, this collective experience for everybody, whether you've had it or not, is going to be something that lives with us forever. If, being someone who's truly lived through it the way that you have, I imagine that leaves a lifelong mark.
Yeah. And then, just because I get it, and because this disease is so much unknown, that would I get reinfected again? I mean, that's always going to be on my mind. And how would that, what's our lifestyle is going to be going down the road, when they come up with the vaccines, but how, again, there's just so much uncertainties, and I just want to make sure that I can be able to go out there and help people.
Yeah.
And my son's already got tested. I told you yesterday, and as soon as it's negative, I want him to register. I mean, of course, I can't force him, but I want him to be out there to, he's young, his immune system's probably stronger than all of us. He's 21 years old, and I want him to make sure that, if he can help, he can help.
Yeah.
So.
With that said, is there any lessons? Is there something like that you've learned from this? And there doesn't have to be. Sometimes there's not, but maybe is there something that you take away from this that maybe stays with you, going forward?
I just want, I think about people, family, and they'll come together and helping you.
Mhm.
I have so many friends call and see say, hey, what can you do? What can we do? I have a friend that went to got me water because I've been drinking water like crazy,
Mhm.
and we ran out of water. And then he says, oh, he went to 3 different places.
Mhm.
My wife has a real close friend that she works for. She works for Wegman,
Mhm.
and she's able to get us some essentials because my
Mhm.
wife can go out,
Yeah.
and just people that like, it's just people that want to help you, and I think that's all we can do these days.
Mhm.
You
Okay.
know,
Well, Randy, that's a great place to end it. I think that's all we can do is try to help each other and try
right?
to be responsible in our habits. If God forbid, it does come to our households as it so sadly came to yours. But obviously, it's great to see you kind of bouncing back.
Yeah,
I could just see it in your face. Life is returned, man. You're smiling. So
yeah,
yeah.
when I'm willing and able, if you
Mhm.
guys anybody who needs any help, just let me know. I'll be trying to, I'll be out there if I can. Of course, I got to take care of my dogs and my
Mhm.
wife, but anytime I can get out there and to help people to deliver some stuff, just let me know because I would be a little more advantageous. Hopefully that I have immune to it
Mhm.
that I can be as far out there freely. So yeah, and anything within reason.
Mhm. Okay.
And if I can help it, I'll definitely do what I can do to help.
Awesome. All right. Well, Randy, really, seriously, thank you so much for sharing your story, for
Yeah,
being so candid, for being so honest, basically for taking us into your home there and everything, and just sharing what you're going through. And obviously, we're very thankful that you're doing okay and that you're on the mend.
yeah, and then down the road, seriously. And then my recommendation is, when things come over, I mean, this disease will always come. And if you get a chance to, stock up on some few things such as surgical mask. And I got to tell you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
my brother's been very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, my wife, my brother, back in January when we're in the import business,
Mm-hmm.
and we know it's like, oh my God, this Chinese virus is just like a SARS, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
lived through SARS, and there was a shortage of a mask, and because at that time
Mm-hmm.
my brother's wife and niece was in Taiwan, and
Mm-hmm.
my dad and my mom was all visiting Taiwan, and we have employees. So my brother, through his connections, got his friends. He was gathering this the level 3,
Mm-hmm.
not quite the N95. The N95 has it's like the round one,
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
is the so-called the level 3
Okay.
level 3 mask. So he was able to get a couple hundred of them through his connections,
Mm-hmm.
and he sent it back to Taiwan. And at that time, I'm mocking him. I said, "What are you doing? You're so panicking. This is
Right.
nothing.
Right.
SARS thing. SARS. We're fine. We deal with SARS." But it really helped. It really helped. And then he
Right.
kept
Little did you know.
yeah, he kept we kept 50, 100 for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think anything of it. But as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I got hit, and my wife's been wearing that mask,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to
Constantly.
take care of it. So a
Yeah.
little bit, preparations. I mean, I might, go crazy, like, dug a tunnel and then go crazy. But I just do some basic stuff and keep yourself, a stock, So
Mhm.
just because, you never know what the next virus is going to come.
That's well said. All right, Randy, let's end there. Thank you so
Yep.
much again, man. We'll be talking and checking in again with you soon. Thank
Thank
you.
you very much, Chris. Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.